Welcome to the Boilerplate. I'm here with my friend Harry, and we're talking. Today's episode is about regrets and mistakes that you make in your life that change the course and bring your life going in another direction. Harry, what kind of thing has happened in your life that you regret or you think was a big mistake?
Well, I had a job working with an autistic kid, and he was very good at basketball. And on the first day I was working with him, I thought, I really want to try to communicate, because he was nonverbal. So I really wanted to try to impress this kid, and I just didn't know how to do that exactly. And so I decided I was going to kick a shoe off and up into the air and then land on my foot with just my sock on. And I thought that would be really funny. And when I did it, I also came down off of a curb onto the part of the basketball court that he was on, and I heard my foot go crunch.
Oh no.
And he wasn't impressed. He didn't even notice it. He didn't notice a lot of things. He was better at basketball than anybody I've ever met. And I really didn't like basketball at all until then. And I kind of like it more, but then every time that I played it with him, my foot hurt. And every time that I would go for a walk with him, my foot would hurt. It was my own clownishness that got me in trouble. So if I really it's a real exquisite kind of pain. If I push it all the way to one side, I can't tell if I'm making it worse or if actually I'm doing it right now, kind of. But it's an exquisite kind of pain. You know, have you ever had poison ivy and put it under hot water?
Oh gosh, I hate poison ivy.
Oh, I love when you put poison ivy right under really hot water, or if you've ever had like a skin allergy, or if you ever had bed bugs, the bed bugs bite, if you put them under hot water, it feels so good.
Wow. I haven't had bed bugs before, but...
You've never had bed bugs?
I've never had bed bugs.
Oh, wow. I can't believe... You're lucky that you haven't had them. I'm pretty sure I know the thing that made me get bed bugs when I got them.
What? Was
living next door to somebody else who had bed bugs.
Oh, yeah. That's how they say they're very apt to, spread.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I actually was able to exterminate them myself, though, from my own apartment.
You were? Well,
yep.
How did you do it?
Well, I just tore everything, just literally everything apart. And eventually, you're going to find them. You're going to find them. They're not microscopic. I found them. They were hiding in all my old CD books, actually.
Oh, my God.
Yep. I was like, oh, good. I'm so glad I held on to all these old CDs.
You didn't have to, light a fire in the place or anything, did you?
No, you just have to find every last one of them personally and kill them.
Did you eat them?
No.
Oh. Okay.
They pop, though, when you find them. Sometimes they're all cozy looking, and then you touch them and you're like, pop. They kind of know they're done then.
Well, I'm sorry that you had to break your ankle or whatever, and also deal with the bed bugs.
Oh, it's okay. So how about you? Do you have any big regrets? Has there been ever anything in your life that was like...
Well, I've had my fair share of car accidents, for sure.
Really?
I rear-ended a lady while I was peeling an orange.
Oh, no.
And driving.
I like oranges, though.
I know.
I could see doing that. I could see that.
Yeah, I really regretted that. And it was snowing, so, I really wish I never did that because it caused a lot of damage to her car. She hurt her back.
Oh no, her back got hurt.
Yeah, that was a big regret. But let's see. I've also, I was on vacation once and I was in Venice with some friends and I fell in the canal.
Oh no. And what problems did that cause for you? What kind of a domino effect did that cause? What kind of comedy of errors happened from that?
I smelled really bad. I smelled like a friend of mine who was my friend. I don't know. I think he was embarrassed by me falling in, and he was less of a friend after that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Because that's something that happened to you. That's not something that you did or chose.
Yeah. I don't know. It just sort of... it just changed everything, and
Well, I guess you'll always have Venice.
I'll
you
always,
and that person, or I guess you won't if you broke up in Venice.
yeah, it was smelly. Maybe he lost interest because of the smell.
Oh no! Have you ever read the story "Death in Venice" by Thomas Mann?
No.
Oh.
Have you?
Yeah. Thomas Mann is one of my favorite writers. Because his stuff is very slow. Thomas Mann wrote the book The Magic Mountain as well. It's about a tuberculosis clinic. Have you ever heard of The Magic Mountain?
No.
Oh, it's one of my favorite books. Also, his short story, Death in Venice, I don't know if I understand it the same way that other people do, but I think it's just a story about the guy kind of gets freaked out because he realizes that he's feeling sicker and sicker, and it was all just because of this moldy peach that he bought earlier in the day. But I never know when I read existential authors if I'm understanding them the way that I'm supposed to, because it's existential, so it's supposed to not mean anything. So I don't know, like, did you ever try to read Camus?
No.
Camus stories don't seem to mean anything either. I think they're very pleasant, but I don't know, I don't know what they're about, really.
Well, when you say existential, wait, what did you say before? Existential?
Existentialism.
Oh.
One of my friends that went to college told me about existentialism. Dostoevsky was an existential author as well. You know Notes from the Underground.
Not really.
You don't know Notes from the Underground? Notes from the Underground is a very sad story. I think it's one of the few times I sat down and read a book in one night and I cried when I read it. Because Notes from the Underground is a very sad story. The first half of the book is just he talks about how he feels about things, how alienated he is, and then the whole second half of the book, they just show this horribly alienated person trying to do what he does in his life, and it's so sad to see because you know exactly who he is, and you can imagine that he's not going to do it right, and it's a very heartbreaking story.
Wow. Well, and it all started with a moldy peach, or am I mixing up the stories now?
He regrets eating the peach.
Oh. I've heard of it.
Everybody's heard of it, and nobody knows what it's about. Have you heard of the painting Rothko?
Yeah. Wait, isn't Rothko the guy that has the big squares of color?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, but
what does that have to do with Death in Venice?
Well, I always kind of wondered what the big deal was with Rothko.
Me too.
Do you still wonder?
Yeah.
I found out.
What is it?
Can you guess?
I mean, the squares are nice, the colors look good together. It is nice and neat and tidy, but I just don't know why is it so... Everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it, right? Or everybody says they love it.
Or they don't.
But like it's really weird because there'll be two of almost the same exact shade of color next to each other, and a lot of people really don't see shades that specifically, so there's no way that certain people even can see it. So I don't know, but I think I found out why everybody talks about Rothko a lot is because he killed himself. So I think that when they look at the bleak picture, they say, oh, I really like the picture, and they identify with the story behind the picture. And so when people fight about it on the internet, I kind of giggle because I feel like the people have like a dog whistle suicide club.
Wow. Well, I just think some of those squares are really big, and I don't know how he really even painted those.
I like them.
Me too.
I like even just honestly the idea of like the word Rothko, you hear it in your mouth, and then think of like a big square. That even feels like that's comforting. Yes. I can understand why people decide that that's a comforting feeling.
Me too.
I like it better, the part where Rothko is a painter that I know about before I knew that he killed himself.
Yeah, I do like the squares.
Yeah, the squares are good though. That's one of the reasons.
Squares are nice, orange is pretty, and I'm glad we had this talk. Thank you for being on this episode of Boilerplate, and thank you everybody for tuning in.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
That was fun.
My head was kind of in the orange though. You might have like.
That's so easy to clean. about that.
I felt the cookie, then the cookie hit the middle. Cap on the bump, I took a piss up with that casket. Came to do something a little less drastic.